Welcome back. Today it's Monday, 18th May 2020. Our topic is grammar, speaking and writing, some exercises into workbook activity. Class 9, Teacher Majlinda. Welcome back. Course book, The English Hub 3. School Rilindja, Kavai, Teacher Majlinda Qosja. The learning results. Dealing with grammar using of although, even though, in spite of, despite of. Developing speaking activities. Developing through speaking activities, fluency and accuracy. Making up good stories using grammar, although, even though, in spite of, despite. Please follow me very carefully. Let's repeat the key words. Let's review vocabulary. Crop, plants such as corn and wheat that can be eaten. Tombilla, të gjitha sigurë apo misër që mund të hahen. Some chemicals are harmful to crops. Cut down, press, to use or do less of something. You should eat healthy food and cut down on sweets.
Environmentally friendly.
Something that is friendly to nature. Escape, to find a way out.
The prisoner escaped from his cell late last night.
Even though, although, despite something.
He found a great job, even though he was very young. Fertilizer.
Substance that makes plants grow faster and bigger.
Although fertilizers help the plants grow, they create a lot of problems for the wildlife in our area.
For instance, for example, greenhouse. A protected environment made of glass where plants are grown.
Greenhouses are a great way to have fresh vegetables throughout the year.
Greenhouse effect.
The greenhouse effect gets worse every year because we continue polluting the environment.
In spite of.
We went to the beach in spite of the cold.
In spite of, despite something else. Landfill.
A horrible smell is coming from the landfill.
The place where rubbish is buried. Mainly, mostly, I mainly ride my bike to work, but sometimes I take the bus.
I mainly ride my bike to work, but sometimes I take the bus.
Grammar. Read the rules and the examples. Although, even though, despite, in spite of. Use although, even though, in spite of, and despite to introduce an idea which is in contrast to the main idea, the main clause expresses. Perdoni, although, even though, in spite of, despite, për të prezantuar një ide e cila është në kundërshtim me idenë që fjalia kryesore shpreh. Although, even though, plus subject plus verb. Although, even though, çfarë kërkon krye fjalën. Pastaj foljen. I was disappointed. I decided to keep trying. In spite of or despite kërkon një emër or ing form. In spite of, despite my disappointment, I decided to keep trying. Pra kujdes, although, even though, e ka formulën plus subject plus verb. In spite of, despite, kërkon një emër ose ing form. In spite of, despite being disappointed, I decided to keep trying. Although, even though, in spite and despite are used to introduce an idea which is in contrast with the idea that the main clause express. Although and even though are followed by a clause subject plus verb. Shënjeta situat duke u shpjeguar. In spite of and despite are followed by a noun, a possessive adjective or an ing form. Pra in spite dhe despite ndiqen nga një emër, nga një mbiemër pronor ose nga forma e qëllundit, forma përcjellore. Write the sentences in two different ways using although or even though and this in spite or of despite. I was tired, but I stayed up and waited for my sister to come back. Although even though I was tired, I stayed up and waited for my sister to come back. In spite of or despite being tired, my tiredness, I stayed up and waited for my sister to come back. You can check the answers. You try to do it yourself, then later you can check your answers from the video. You will hear people talking in 4 different situations. For questions 1-4, choose the best answer A, B, or C. Listen very carefully.
Listen. You will hear people talking in 4 different situations. For questions 1-4, choose the best answer A, B, or C. 1. Good morning, darling.
Good morning, Mum.
Excuse me, what are you doing?
What do you mean?
What did you just put in that bin?
Some rubbish.
That's the recycling bin, you know.
Really? I thought it was the big blue one.
It's an easy mistake to make. 2.
Did you see that documentary last night?
Yes, wasn't it awful?
I know. Just imagine what it's like where we live. There are lots of factories around here.
You're right. They're working day and night pumping out poisonous fumes.
And where do they end up?
In the atmosphere?
Exactly. And when it comes down, it's not only the trees that it harms. Think about the buildings and the ancient ruins.
We should start a campaign to move the factories away from the city. What do you think?
You think so? Well, I suppose it can't hurt to try.
3.
So let's have a look at your invention, Andrew.
It's over here.
Wow, impressive looking. Does it work?
Well, I took it out on the sea yesterday, and it worked fine.
Does it need to be in water to work?
I don't think so. As long as it's sunny, it works perfectly. It doesn't really work very well when it's windy, though.
Will that be a problem?
I hope not.
4.
Hi, Claire. How was your science lesson?
It was pretty interesting, actually.
You're kidding.
I know it's hard to believe. We're doing a big project about the environment, and today we learned about fossil fuels. Mr. Walker told us that it takes millions of years to create fossil fuels, and we're using them up a lot faster than they're being produced. What will we do when there are none left?
We should use alternative energy, really.
That's what we're learning about in the next lesson.
So you have to check from your home. Why is mother angry with her son? Because he put his rubbish in the wrong bin. What are the people talking about? They are talking about acid rain. How is the machine powered? Solar power. What did the girl learn about the fossil fuels? They won't last forever. This is the transcript. Speaking. Work in pairs. Look at the pictures below and discuss the environmental problems. What can be done to improve each situation? If you remember, we have done a lot about Earth Day presentation, so you know a lot about it. I'm going to attach your friend Reda's presentation about Earth Day. So we must be friendly. We must be friendly with the Earth. We must protect it because it's the place where we live in. Please I want your audios or videos about these environmental problems. What can be done to improve each situation? I'm hardly waiting to listen to you. Practice your student's book, the exercises in the student's book. See you there.